In the financial world, where the US dollar is at the center and the one to look at currency in every financial duties globally, no one could ever imagine that an African and just developing country could vigorously come out to look directly into its eyes fearlessly. As the world's primary reserve currency, the US dollar plays a pivotal role in the global economy and accounts for the majority of global foreign exchange reserves, a thing which makes it the most performing currency globally. However, recently, something new concerning performance of global currencies continues to happen. Ghana's local currency, known as the Cedi, comes in with a magnificent performance. This is not just performance, that is going unheard. This performance is sending alarms globally into global financial corporations that are not coming out to just say, "Thanks, Ghana," but warning the West African country, a thing even causing more mixed reactions. Ghana's Cedi performance in 2025 has been absolutely wild, where the currency has jumped up by around 50% against the US dollar. Everyone is continuously being shocked by these exciting news. Shockingly, everyone is again wondering why at the time when the Cedi is performing insanely high, the International Monetary Fund, or simply IMF, comes out to warn Ghana's financial sector to find a way of stopping the currency from this continuous performance. Before looking at the rift between Ghana and the IMF. Indeed, Ghana's currency had gone through a lot, hence a need by the financial sector of the country do something magical about the problem that many African countries have been and continuing to face concerning currency performances. For a developing country like Ghana, that is fighting hard to improve its foreign exchange in order to achieve suitable economic growth, a lot happens. Ghana, just like a number of African countries, has been facing a challenge of low exchange rates on imports due to its currency's poor performance against the US dollar. Just recently, towards the end of 2022, Ghana's Cedi was announced to have become the worst performing currency in the world, taking over negatively the Sri Lankan rupee after then its recent 3.3%. This was a lot for the country that is even among the global top gold producers. This setback was due to the currency's sharp decline in value, as it was reported to have lost 45.1% of its value against the US dollar since the beginning of the year. After experiencing this setback, Ghana's government started its intense journey of saving its beloved Cedi. The Ghanaian government started to initiate talks with the IMF to receive an economic bailout, a thing that was slow. An economic bailout meant that Ghana wanted financial assistance, such as loans or cash injections, provided by IMF to prevent its collapse and widespread economic instability. The IMF was slow in response to Ghana's request, as they required a debt sustainability plan before lending the country its requested $3 billion bailout. During this period, Ghana's exchange rates had been weakening over the period since it adopted the floating exchange rate system, adding to not successfully taking advantage of the weakening Cedi to earn more from exports. According to research, over the years, the Cedi to the dollar exchange rate from 2007 to 2013 depreciated by 100% after it was pegged at 1 Cedi to $1 in July 2007. It was also observed that the Cedi depreciated by 180% in the next 7 years, 2013 to 2020, also turning worse from then up to 2024. Even though Ghana introduced a system of floating exchange rate system, where currency's value is determined by the forces of supply and demand in the foreign exchange market, with no government intervention, it failed to perform as intended. Ghana, therefore, decided to redenominate the Cedi and then peg 1 Cedi to $1. This action of the state worked to a certain extent, but the Cedi continued depreciating against the foreign currencies. Thus, it could not hold on to the 1 Cedi to $1 tag. Even though the IMF finally approved a 3-year $3 billion extended credit facility, ECF, for Ghana in May 2023 to help restore economic stability and debt sustainability, the lending wasn't at once. This meant that the country had to devise more ways to save its economy from collapse. New Ghanaian President. John Mahama's government presented its much-awaited 2025 budget. In it, there was the flagship 24-hour economy strategy and the no academic fees policy. The budget included the cancellation of several unpopular taxes introduced by the previous government, such as the electronic transfer levy, e-levy, the COVID-19 levy, VAT on select categories, and the betting tax. In this, reducing tariffs were intended to make Ghana more attractive to foreign investors by lowering the cost of imported inputs and finished goods, thus increasing the profitability of businesses and fostering a more open and competitive market. Reducing these taxes by Ghana's government have also benefited citizens by increasing their disposable income and stimulating economic activity. Again, this new introduced tax relief has acted as an immediate cushion against rising costs, helping households manage expenses like groceries and fuel. With these and more reforms, it is the reason why Ghana has made a record of its currency emerging as a top performer, a thing that comes with strong warning from IMF. The IMF latest concerns over Ghana's foreign exchange policy confirm long-standing warnings it has issued to the government and the Bank of Ghana. The Ghana Cedi's insane performance against the dollar leads to the IMF's warning of the Bank of Ghana to reduce its intervention in the forex market and allow greater exchange rate flexibility. Foreign exchange intervention is a monetary policy tool. It involves central banks intervening in the foreign exchange market to effect, often to stabilize, a currency rate. Central banks, especially those in developing countries, intervene in the foreign exchange market in order to build reserves for themselves or provide them to the country's banks. Their aim is often to stabilize the exchange rate. Two difficulties that central banks face are in determining 1. The timing, and 2. The amount of intervention. This is often a judgment call rather than a cold, hard fact. The amount of reserves, the type of economic trouble facing the country, and ever-changing market conditions require that a fair amount of research and understanding be achieved before determining how to take a productive course of action. This is why the IMF is coming out directly to warn Ghana of these risky moves it's taking. If it is true that the Bank of Ghana has directly intervened in the foreign exchange market, why the IMF is so concerned, when this move has been repeatedly carried out by even the US itself among other giants. Studies show that a number of central banks and governments have tried to control currency rates using a variety of tools that include monetary policy, floating exchange rate systems, issuing new currency, and managing foreign currency reserves. In this, when a country's central bank or government intervenes in the foreign exchange market, it often attracts traders, as some will either anticipate that the intervention will be followed by more extraordinary efforts to weaken or strengthen a currency, as with Ghana, or that it will create an opportunity to fade the move. Depending on the difficulty of achieving their mandate, central banks might need to manipulate their currency in an effort to foster economic growth. What does this mean? It means that a weaker currency could help make exports more attractive for foreign buyers, while a stronger currency could help reduce prices for imported commodities, hence stimulating the economy. A number of countries, such as Japan, Mexico, Thailand, Brazil, among others, have managed floating currency systems where the government regularly intervenes to help determine foreign exchange market prices. Someone will ask, is government forex exchange intervention bad? Government foreign exchange intervention is not inherently bad, but it involves significant trade-offs, costs, and potential negative side effects, such as increased volatility, moral hazard, or interference with domestic monetary policy. While intervention can be a useful tool to manage excessive short-term volatility, calm disorderly markets, or prevent financial crises, its effectiveness is mixed and depends heavily on the specific conditions. It is most effective when used to address large shocks threatening stability and integrated with other macroeconomic and fiscal policies, rather than as a means to gain unfair competitive trade advantages. Despite the goal of stability, intervention, particularly when overused, can increase exchange rate volatility in some cases. Forex volatility refers to the degree of variation in the price of a currency pair over time. In simple terms, it measures how much and how quickly the price of a currency pair moves. Volatility is a critical factor in forex trading, as it can influence the potential for profit and the level of risk involved. Ghana's government is doing all it can to save its economy. The IMF may be concerned, but the government of Ghana has maybe pressed the button that a number of African countries have long feared to press.